This is Black Woman CEO. Welcome to the only podcast dedicated to giving you the raw and real experiences of successful Black women entrepreneurs. Yes, girl, we're talking about the behind the scenes strategies of what it takes to increase in your profit, power, and purpose. I am your host, Quanisha Green, and I invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show. Welcome everyone back to the live virtual summit, Maintaining Your Calm and Confidence During Crisis. And we have the lovely Seneca Williams here, a business therapist, to come share with you 4 mental health routines to improve your business. Hey, Seneca.
Hello.
Yes. And I have known Seneca now for 2-3 years. And we work together in there's so many different capacities. So I am so excited to have her here to as a mental health professional to really talk to you about how to improve your business. And she also focused particularly on business therapy. But before we jump into Seneca's presentation, I just want to tell you all why we're doing this, right? So the maintaining your calm and confidence during crisis is really important at any time, whether you're in good or bad times. Our whole goal here was to make sure that we can speak about crisis in a holistic way, but particularly right now, and not to date the video, but right now what we're going through is a world pandemic around the coronavirus. First in our lifetime and hopefully the last, but of course not in human history, where we are literally on self-quarantines, countries are shutting down, New York City's about to shut down in 48 hours, mandatory quarantines, everything's closed, kids are home, schools are closed. So it's really impacting our life, like our regular livelihood and our lifestyles. Some people are panicky, some have anxiety, some have fear. Some of us are just being vigilant, but still a little, oh my gosh, what's happening here? So, but particularly times of crisis are hard hitting for entrepreneurs and small business owners, for a number of reasons. So another reason why we wanted to do this, particularly to our Black women CEO community, one, to talk about it from a culturally relevant perspective, even though these tips, anyone can benefit from them. But really, I wanted to bring these brilliant Black women experts like Seneca, like all the speakers that you heard, so that you can learn effective strategies to navigate this unexpected world event. So I'm going to hand it over to Seneca. She'll tell you more about herself and then jump into her content. But quick housekeeping. As you know, Black Women CEO, we always want to help another sister rise. So right now, let me know, number one, if you're new to Black Women CEO, put CEO sister if you've been hanging out with us for a while. And what I want to encourage you to do, even though we're repurposing on the podcast, so podcast people, just, stick with me for another 10 seconds. We want you to interact with the video. One, that's the algorithm, right? The more we interact, the further FB, right, sends it out. And why does that matter? We have over 14,000 women on our Facebook page. We have over 5,200 women in our Facebook group. So every time you interact, it allows another group of folks to see it. So that's how we can pay it forward and help another sister rise. And so I'll be encouraging you all to comment and be in the comments. And definitely Seneca will come back later when she's not teaching to definitely touch on it. And we'll also look at some of the questions at the end. So I'm turning it over to Seneca. I'm gonna be quiet and let her run her show. And thank you again for answering the call to come.
Thank you so much for having me and for allowing me to be here to speak to the tribe. Definitely am excited about this. Okay, so my name is Seneca Williams. I am known as Ask Coach Sen on social media, so do like, follow, and share. I am a licensed therapist, and I also do international coaching, but I specialize in business therapy. And what does that mean? It means that I work with a lot of entrepreneurs on managing their mindset, their emotions, the challenges that come up in business. So as we see what's going on right now, this has got to be in the history books for one of the biggest challenges that entrepreneurs could possibly face. And I know for many people, they don't do well with handling crisis. Handling crisis like this is not something that anybody was prepared for. Just think about what we're doing right now. We're watching, our world leaders try to figure it out in front of us. So this can cause a lot of anxiety. So today, I'm definitely happy to be here to talk about how we can get through this together. Okay, let me see, get my slides up here. All right. So for many of you who may not be familiar with therapy, I actually do online therapy. And online therapy is something that is actually going to be very critical at this time because we are social distancing. And because we're social distancing right now, we have to find ways that we can still care for our mental health. We can still get what we need to, feel better and feel clarity and move through this process. So today I'm talking to you about effective ways to get your business mind right through crisis. And boy, oh boy, is this crisis. And when I think of crisis, I think of a storm coming. Now, some storms come really rapidly and other storms come really slowly. Now, I used to live in New York and then I relocated to Florida. And since relocating to Florida, I feel like I got a cheat code because in Florida, we have hurricane season every year. So we have to run to the store, try to get all this stuff out the store. They're running out of water, they're running out of stuff. Bread and water always go really fast. Then we got to get gas, we got to do all this stuff. And then we got to, hunker down into our houses and wait for a category 5 to come to our homes. And we're hoping it doesn't come to our homes because you can start thinking about all the things that can happen. It's going to destroy everything. I'm going to have to start over. What am I going to do? What's going to happen with my business? What's going to happen with my family, with the things that I have? So just imagine, for much of the world, like people in the North and stuff like that who are not used to preparing for storms, I know this is way out of their comfort zone. Many of my therapy clients are in New York and they're like, I've never experienced anything like this. So this sitting down and waiting to see what's going to happen is causing a lot of anxiety. Some storms feel like they're slowly coming and some feel like they're hitting you. But we will get through this and we will get through it together. This is a quote that I use with my clients because, like someone told me today, this is one of those situations where you just can't fluff. There's no fluff about this. You can't make up some other thing or reframe it or whatever. Like it is what it is, right? We are in crisis. Some people are in more crisis than others, but we are all in crisis to some degree. So when I experience crisis or when my clients experience crisis, I usually share this quote by Louise Hay. I do not fix my problems. I fix my thinking and my problems fix themselves. We can't make the crisis go away right now. We can't wish it away right now. We can't go to sleep and wake up and it's gone. We can't shoo it away. The crisis is here. And the crisis is here. That means that we have to shift the way that we're thinking about it. The events were canceled, right? The meetings were canceled. The trips were canceled. Maybe that contract that you've been looking forward to for a whole year, finally getting ready to show your stuff or make that big check, that was canceled. We can't change the crisis, but what we can do is change how we are responding to the crisis. And that starts with our thinking. As I share with every new client and everyone new to therapy, it's as simple as think, feel, and do. Focus on what you're thinking because your thoughts lead to your feelings and your feelings lead to your doings. Okay? Think, feel, do. Okay, so today's agenda is really simple. I'm going to keep it short. Just a quick disclaimer, whatever I share today is not to be confused as medical treatment. I am not diagnosing anyone. This is all for informational purposes. If you are in crisis or you do need therapy services, If you have an emergency, call 911. But if you want to talk about getting therapy services, you can reach out to me, senecawilliams.com. So today's agenda is really simple. I want to first explain to you to identify mental health, because what I realize is many people are aware that mental health exists, but they don't understand where they are on that mental health continuum. And it's a continuum. So it starts over here and it's over here. And when you start over here, that might be you're functioning fine, you're okay in your daily activities, you're generally happy and content in life and things are going the way that they should. But when you get over here into severe mental illness, that's when you find that people are having thoughts of suicide, actively attempting suicide, substance abuse, overdosing. They need to be hospitalized or in treatment or rehab. So on this continuum, this mental health continuum, we are all on there at some point. And I'll tell you what, during crisis, most of us are closer to that middle or the end of the continuum during a crisis. So we definitely need to be able to understand mental health, how it shows up, how it's impacting us daily, and then what we can do about it. So what we can do about it in a crisis is letting go of what is familiar to create a new normal. So we'll talk about mental health routines for our life and our business. Okay. So identifying mental health symptoms when your business is in crisis. Sometimes people think that mental health looks like someone laying down, sobbing and crying, and they can't go on with life, and they're talking and telling everyone they're having thoughts of ending their life and all this stuff. Sometimes it's not like that at all. Sometimes it's insomnia. It's sitting up all night worried about what are you going to do? How are you going to make this money? How are you going to make back what you lost? Having thoughts whirling around in your mind, not sleeping. And sometimes the anxiety warning signs are happening all the time and you're not realizing it. It can be happening in your body where you start feeling tension, you start having headaches, you're noticing breathlessness. Now, imagine that right now, the stuff going on in your body, right? And everyone's getting sick around you and you're feeling this. Some people experience something called health anxiety, where they have a fear of getting sick. So when they experience these physical symptoms of anxiety, it can kind of trigger all kinds of fears in them. Of course, there's the mind, there's the worrying, feeling distracted, not focused, all over the place. Then stress can make you lose confidence in your business. You're not showing up the way that you used to. You're not doing the work that you know you should be doing, that you could be doing, that you're qualified to do. You might find that you are self-sabotaging, right? Your behaviors, you're not showing up to appointments, you're not calling people back, you're shrinking small. It's so important for you to identify what's happening. So when I found this diagram, what I was pretty surprised by was how many of the symptoms of physical anxiety can mimic other serious physical health conditions, right? So not saying that mental health conditions are not serious, but saying that it can mimic physical health conditions. And this in itself can create more anxiety. So imagine if your heart starts beating really fast and your chest is really tight, or you feel like your body is heating up, it's getting really warm. You can start thinking, oh my God, what's happening to me? Or your stomach is upset. Or at the very, very extreme end of it, you have a panic attack. And some people haven't experienced a panic attack, but it actually feels like you are dying. That's how many people have described their panic attacks. So if you are experiencing all these physical symptoms, One, now you're worried, oh my gosh, I am dying, I'm not well, I am sick. And this extreme worrying and all this stress on your body is going to lower your immunity, right? So, right now, the most important defense that we have in our life, in our business, is our immune system being strong. So imagine if you're not managing your anxiety, your emotional symptoms, your physical symptoms, what that's going to do to your immune system. So, what are we going to do? We're going to have to create a new normal. A new normal. What was going on 3 weeks ago or 3 months ago does not apply today. And actually, when I created this presentation, it is coming directly from things that I've been saying all this week to my therapy clients, to my coaching clients who are going through this crisis at this time. You have to create a new normal. And sometimes a new normal means creating new routines. So each day that you're going through the crisis, it's going to be really, really challenging because you're going to feel like you're in a fog. You're going to feel like you're all over the place. Something many people told me this week is they were losing track of time. Like they didn't even know what day it was or what time it was. I know for myself, when I'm in crisis, I kind of feel like dreamlike. So I'm not even aware of what it is that I'm doing. And it's easy to get lost and things to get away from me and for me to feel pulled in many different places at the same time, but also still feel frozen. Like I don't know what to do. What do I do next? What happens tomorrow? Waiting for the other shoe to drop. That's why you need a routine. Routines give you a chance to have some kind of stability, some kind of control. The routine is going to help you to relieve yourself of decision fatigue. So you don't have to decide every moment of every day, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? What am I going to do next? Because you'll already know today, this is what I'm going to do. Tomorrow, this is what I'm going to do. Right. And at this point, when we're going through crisis, we can't think too much into 6 months from now because we don't know what's going to happen. It's hard to even know what's going to happen 6 days from now. But if we have a very basic routine of I'm going to get up in the morning at this time every day. I'm going to eat breakfast. I'm going to eat healthy, nutritious meals. Now, all the stuff that you weren't able to do before crisis, while you're in crisis, that is the time that you need to be doing it, right? This is the time for eating as healthy as possible, cooking those healthy meals that give you the nutrients. And I have this saying, food for fuel, not for fun. I love food. I'm a foodie. I love to eat a lot of stuff, but I also think it's so important to pay attention to what I am putting in my body because that's fuel. And if you don't want to get into a serious anxiety disorder, if you don't want to fall into a depression, you need to make sure that you're covering all these different things. When am I going to sleep at night? That's part of your routine. Having a nighttime routine can help you. So, the thing about crisis, and if you can remember back to any time that you might have been in crisis, you have a lot of mental fog. It's really hard to think straight. It's really hard to make decisions. You can't remember things. You start losing your memory about things. Having a routine can help you to navigate until the storm is over. So, one of the things I tell people is reflect, be honest. This is not the time to try to be Wonder Woman. This is not the time to prove how much of a strong Black woman you are because we all are strong, but strength needs support. We're all leaders in our own right, but leaders need strength. So we have to figure out, okay, I am strong, but what areas do I need support in? What areas am I really challenged in? Sometimes we can let our cognitive distortions, which People call it stinking thinking. They're irrational thoughts. These are the thoughts that make us feel like, oh my gosh, it's doomsday. The world is over. Everything that I have in my business is lost. Everything that I worked so hard for, I'm never going to have it again. I'm never going to bounce back. Oh my goodness, I lost clients. I am never going to find clients again. That's catastrophizing. That's catastrophic thinking. You're thinking of the worst case possible. It's the worst case scenario. And the thing about worst case scenarios, I don't know about you, but I've lived through quite a few rock bottom moments in life. The rock bottom moments where you think to yourself, this is it. Life is done. I don't know where to go from here. Those moments when your back is against the wall, those moments when you have no idea where that light at the end of the tunnel is. I've had those moments. And in those moments, you have to create your own light. And how you create your own light is by one, acknowledging, I'm scared right now. I don't know what I'm going to do or how I'm going to do it or how this is going to play out. But what you need to do is start planning, right? Start planning. So something you can do in crisis is writing out a safety plan. And that safety plan is basically a short plan saying, in the event of this, this is what I am going to do. This is who I'm going to be calling. This is how I'm going to get support. Your safety plan can be really simple. It's just telling you that there's a way out, there's support, there's help. So, for example, right now, with everything that's going on, knock on wood, no one wants to be sick in a pandemic. But let's say you were to get sick. What is your safety plan? Your safety plan is you'll call Janet. You'll go to your doctor. You have your doctor's phone number. Here's your medical information. So you can feel more secure and control of that. The other thing is, what about your business? Oh my goodness, how are you going to handle that? Sometimes writing out an action plan, right? And you might have heard people talk about pivoting. So pivoting just means that you're writing out an action plan. It's like, well, plan A didn't work. Plan B will start. You see so many people these days who have had to cancel their live events. What they're doing is they're putting on virtual events like the one that you're viewing right now. Or you're finding out that for your clients, maybe I had this long-term solution for them, but right now, when people are in crisis, they can only see right here in front of their face. So I'm going to create a short-term solution for them, package that and sell it. One that's, they can relate to right now, one that they need right now. So this leads me to the other things, micro goal setting, right? So micro goal setting while you're in crisis is breaking down your task to 20 or 30 minutes. I'm finding that my clients that are going through it right now, they really can't focus or concentrate on more than the 20 or 30 minutes at a time. So they're getting work done, they're being productive, but they're breaking it down into 20 or 30-minute increments. Then when they're done, they're taking a break, right? So they may be recharging more frequently, taking 5-minute to 15-minute breaks more frequently. And as I said before, fueling your body, making sure that you're getting rest, you're eating what you need to be eating, and you're getting physical activity. That activity could be walking, it could be stretching, it could be dancing, it could be yoga, but you are moving your body. You need to be doing this every day. Write down this routine. I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this. You can even put times next to it. This is what I'm going to do today. This is what I'm going to do tomorrow. That relieves you from the decision fatigue. Okay. And it also stops you from watching all this news because the news is traumatizing you. It's actually a name for it, vicarious traumatization. So you're watching other people going through it, other people being challenged, and you're getting traumatized. So when it comes to routines for support in your life and your business, This is the time that you need to lean in to your community. This is not the time to isolate. This is not the time to stay to yourself and be quiet and not ask for help. This is the time to use support networks like the one you're in right now. So you can have a professional community that you're leaning into, one with your colleagues. I'm in communities with quite a few therapists and coaches, and we are helping each other get through this world crisis. This global crisis is not something any of us have dealt with, and we are leaning into each other. It allows us to facilitate giving and receiving. Maybe there's something that I'm strong in, and there's something that they're strong in, and we can exchange resources and we can support each other. This is the time to lean into your community. You can have a professional community and you can have a personal community. Make sure the communities that you are leaning into are positive and they are filling you up and not draining you. And that leads me to professional support, because you need to make sure that you're filling up your cup, right? If you're always taking care of everybody and you're always the one that people are going to, you're the caretaker, you're the one making the decisions, you're the one that's the leader. Who is helping you? What happens when you have given all of yourself to everyone and now you have nothing left for you? How are you going to run your business like that? So some people say, oh, my plate is full. What happens when, forget your plate being full, what happens when your plate is broken, when you break the plate? Because you put too much on it for too long. This is not the time to try to show up looking like, I got this, I can do everything by myself. And that's why it's so important that for business owners and leaders, that they have their own support. And that support can come in the form of a therapist and a coach. You can have both a therapist and a coach helping you with different aspects of life and business. Choose people that understand entrepreneurship and they understand the things that you are going through. Many times when I talk to my clients, my therapy clients, I'm able to help them navigate different things about their business as well, and how that is interconnected into some of their inner workings, right? Their subconscious thoughts, the things that were conditioned from childhood. I'm able to make that connection and see how we can shift these things so that they can break through whatever emotional limits they had. It is so important that you think of therapy and coaching as a way to keep your momentum. It's a non-negotiable. It's not something that you should say, oh, well, it's like going to the spa. It is not like going to the spa. It's what's going to help you get through this crisis. So if you were wondering, how does this all work? I work with my therapy clients online. We meet. I have prepaid packages, so we meet face to face just like this. I get to talk to you about what is going on for you emotionally. I get to talk to you about what your coping skills are, how to build emotional endurance, emotional intelligence, how to manage your anxiety, how to manage your depression so that you can get through this stronger, wiser, smarter. I also offer individual coaching programs as well. Maybe you are struggling with confidence in business startup and the crisis just came and blew things up. And now you're like, I shouldn't even start this business. I can't do this. This is actually the time to do this, right? This is the time that you need to be getting as courageous as possible, because what goes down must come up. And there's actually a really good quote that I will leave you with. This quote is by Maya Angelou. And it is, every storm runs out of rain. The late, great Maya Angelou. So like I said, storms will come. They will happen. Some come slow. Some come really fast. But every storm runs out of rain. So thank you for having me today. I'm so happy to be a part of this community, to support you. If you would like to schedule a free clarity call with me, I'm going to talk with you about how you're dealing with this crisis, ways that you can probably move forward in your business so that you're not letting all the emotional stuff get to you. This is my time. You can reach me at senecawilliams.com. There is a free download for the 5-day business mindset shift on there that you can start journal writing and figuring out what feelings are possibly holding you back from moving forward in your business. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Seneca. And I think I did this right. All right, how was that for everyone? I love that we have a certified therapist, licensed therapist on to really talk about these different perspectives. So one, I definitely encourage you to get the 5-day is business mindset shift. Just scroll a little bit to the middle of the page and you see that. And also really connect with Seneca. And then if you're in Florida or New York, you can get the online therapy. And one thing I found in the past is that when you really have a provider, whether like a therapist in some sense that understands business and can tend to the emotional piece, you really open up a whole new realm of possibility, because often when you go to traditional therapy, they're just like, okay, they kind of have it maybe theoretically, right, in their experience, but someone who actually, one is a business owner, understands the things that entrepreneurs and business owners go through. It's just a different, set of skills that she brings in addition to being a therapist. I definitely want to encourage you. Many people in our community, she's our business therapist, enjoys these sessions and connecting with Seneca. So Seneca, any last, words of wisdom, anything you want to say to the audience? And while you do that, I'll go over to the comments and see what stuck out.
Well, you know what? There's something that I do when I do groups for how we can breathe, because sometimes what people don't realize is they're not breathing when they're anxious. They're not breathing when they're in crisis. They're kind of holding their breath, waiting like what's going to happen. And they're like, oh, why is my chest high? And it's like, you're not breathing. So something that I help people to do to understand how they should be breathing is I tell them, imagine when you were a little kid and you were blowing bubbles, right? That's the way that you need to be breathing. And I actually
right now.
Yes, let's do it.
All right, everyone.
Let's do it. So I actually do this with men too, and they love it because they think it's funny. But I tell them, close your eyes and imagine yourself as a kid, right? And you're holding that thing of bubbles. You're holding the bottle of bubbles, right? And you have your little dipstick thing. I don't know what it's called, but you dip the wand. You dip your wand in there and you mix it up. And you're spinning it around and you're going to pull it out. And when you pull it out, you're going to inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And you're going to try to blow a bubble so big. Let's do that. Pull it out and blow. And imagine that bubble getting so big. And then you tap, tap, tap and do it again.
All right, here we go.
You tap, tap, tap in there and you pull it out and inhale, exhale. And you just imagine yourself blowing the biggest bubble. Do it one more time. And then when you finish, you open your eyes and you're back.
How did that feel, everyone? I realized I have not been breathing deeply. I was like, the breath went down to my diaphragm. I was like, it definitely was like up here in my chest. So thank you so much. I'm so glad I asked you, is there anything else? So whether you're listening to the podcast and watching it on video, definitely take those, 1 or 2 minutes. I don't think it was even a full 2 minutes to do that activity. You're going to feel a world of a difference. And we do have our next speaker on deck, but quickly, I just want to, and of course, Seneca, as I read the comments, if you have anything, Nicole said, I'm in this place right now. I guess when you were first talking about what people were. Tiffany said, a new normal, it's a mindset shift. Nicole said, yes, waking up at 4 a.m. is my new norm. Cassandra said, you're correct. Healthy foods do help with reducing anxiety. Processed foods are causes for many illnesses and addictions. I have wrote like, yeah, I've hit rock bottom more than once. I was like, I don't know. Can you hit rock bottom more than once? I was like, dang, I hear again. I'm further down than I was last time.
You get better each time.
I could bounce back quicker. And that resilience muscle worked out. Nicole said, yep, that moment when the only option is surrender. Yes. Cassandra said, I've definitely hit rock bottom personally, professionally, financially, and spiritually before, so I can relate. Tiffany, aha moment, micro goal setting. Cassandra said, I'm here to support whatever positive community could use me. Awesome. Thank you for being here. And Cassandra said, having a therapist like you does work. I've had a therapist in the past. Your work is needed. Awesome, awesome. And definitely Seneca will come. People saying, thank you, I'm glad I stuck around to hear you. Coaching and therapy are interchangeable and necessary, Nicole said. And other folks, after the deep breath, they're like, yes. So thank you.
Do that all through this crisis.
Yeah, just keep breathing, everybody. We might have to do some collective virtual breathing up in the Black Women's CEO Facebook group. So thank you, Seneca, once again. I'm going to actually paste once again the workbook, and then you can go to support@senecawilliams.com, and we'll make sure all this is in the show notes and in the description and different things to make sure that folks can connect with you if they're looking for online therapy or even just being in your community, because business therapy can be coaching. So you can definitely connect with her in that realm, even if the formal therapy can't be provided because of where you're located. So thank you, Seneca, so much, and we will talk with you soon.
Thank you. Peace and blessings.
Oh, girl, the episode stopped, but the party is not over. I want you to go ahead and subscribe, like, and rate this show. Leave us a comment sharing your takeaways. And when you're done with that, come on over to blackwomenceo.com, join our movement. And when you do that, you'll get the special invitation to join us in our community. Well, I will love to put a face to that name, girl. So this is Quanisha signing off, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Peace and love.